So after a quite superb day of racing here at round 7 of the Daniel Ricciardo series, it all comes down to the DRS125s, our senior class, last out on circuit after 2 fantastic races from the DRS62s and the DRS100s. A wonderful advert for close racing, for how close this series is. A series born and based out of driver ability, and we've seen some great examples of that. Now then, we turn our attention to our final race of the day. The presentation will take place shortly after, but the DRS125s are on the dummy grid. And just awaiting the circuit to be cleared. They'll get notification from the marshal on the dummy grid that all is well. The starter will take control, and then it'll be down to the number 6 of Tyrone Stansfield to lead them round and get them underway, or get us underway for our final race of the day. If you're tuning in on our live stream on Facebook or on YouTube, feel free to interact with us.
Grid's come in.
Regarding your view of today's racing. You could even give us your view of who the driver of the day is. We've seen lots and lots of candidates, that's for sure. But stay tuned for the final race of round 7 here in the south of Wales. From here we move the roadshow along to Cheshire, to Hooton Park, where we will have we will be crowning 3 2019 DRS Series champions. And they'll all be looking to accumulate as many points as they can in this final race of the day, the DRS 125s.
Grid's up.
And they'll be led out by Tyrone Stansfield, the number 6. Alongside him, Patrick Lay. Got there, didn't he, last time in the pre-Grand Prix. Patrick Lay really started to turn the screw in the closing stages. This is a longer race, remember. James Lay on the inside of row number 2, alongside Richard Evans. Matthew Pearson, championship leader Sam Faulkner on row 3. Row 4 is Corey Lane and Zach Parkinson. Row number 5 on the inside is Daniel Walden, with Mark Lawrence alongside, and Oliver Moog and Dave Burns make up row 6. Will Checkley and Carl Watt on row 7, and David Darling and Morgan Cole on row 8. The final driver is Ryan Benton. 17 of these DRS 125 drivers, they're all waiting for the cart to be recovered. That's just going through the Richmond corner at the moment. So once that's out the way, I would imagine our final race of the day will be on circuit. And let's hope they give us a fitting finale to an excellent day's racing. So here they come then, led by Tyrone Stansfield, who's been pretty flawless, it has to be said. He came under some pressure from Patrick Lay in the pre-Grand Prix, but he managed to rebuff those advances. So 2 formation laps, as has been the order of the day in all classes, giving them the opportunity to get the desired temperature into the tyres. And the next time round, they will slow down, they'll form up. I think we've had every start today go at the first time of asking, which is generally fairly rare, it has to be said. Every single start has gone at the first time of asking, which is testament to the driver's ability to ensure that they are well formed. So Stansfield and Patrick Lay, James Lay and Richard Evans, Matthew Pearce, Sam Faulkner, front 6 drivers. Will the win come from one of those, or will we get something outside of the top 6? Will we get a surprise package here? It'll have to be a surprise to undo the good work that Tyrone Stansfield's done so far. Here they come. Will they go first time? Yes, they do. Can Lay find a way around Stansfield? He can. It's a fairly straightforward. If you get alongside the driver on the outside of the front row, you always have a nice funnel in, and they are all through the first corner, and it is indeed Tyrone Stansfield who leads. Second place is Patrick Lay. Third looks to be the 2 of Richard Evans. So James Lay has lost a place on that first lap. In fact, he's lost a couple, because look at Sam Faulkner. Faulkner is up into 4th. So just keep an eye on this. This could be very close to Patrick Lay's right there, isn't he? Will Patrick Lay have a look down the inside into the final corner? No, he won't, because Stansfield's so good on the brakes on the way into the final corner here. The Raymond's hairpin. Down into Surtees they come. Long left-hander. The right-hander, Mac Werters, is where they are now, and then they're through this Lancaster curve and into Chandler's, the right-hander. He's right there, isn't he? Patrick Lay. James Lay back in 5th. These front 4 are very close indeed. And he's under some pressure now. He hasn't had this sort of pressure all day, Tyrone Stansfield. How does he deal with this, the 16-year-old? They are right with him as they go into paddock. Here comes Lay. He pointed the nose to the inside, then decided better of it. He took back in. Just gave him a little warning shot, didn't he, Patrick Lay? So Stansfield knows he's there, and he absolutely will do as well. This is lined up to be an absolute cracker here. 10 minutes to go of DRS125 racing, and Stansfield, Lay, Evans and Faulkner, numbers 6, 175, 2 and 1, absolutely together as they go through the right-hander at Chandler's, come out onto this short straight up towards the Dell chicane. They flick themselves right, left, right, down the back straight, the hanger straight, which takes them towards the final corner. And again, Patrick Lay just shows his nose to the inside of Stansfield. Just lets him know he's there. He'll be well aware he's there. There was absolutely no doubt that Tyrone Stansfield knows exactly what's going on around him. They have great senses, these drivers. They can pick up how many engines are behind them just by the noise. They know exactly what's going on. They have super heightened senses in these situations. The concentration levels are through the roof. Stansfield, Lay, Evans and Faulkner, the front 4. Where does, in fact, Faulkner's just dropped off a little bit. I wonder if he made a little mistake last time around. He certainly hasn't shown the pace here that he's had at previous races this season. And he will have lost some championship points as well to the chasing pack. Here are the leaders then. Stansfield, Lay, Evans, Faulkner. James Lay is in 5th. Matthew Pearce is 6th. Dan Walden is 7th. Corey Lane. Oh, and down the inside goes Patrick Lay, and he's not lost 1, he's lost 2, because Richard Evans has nicked down the inside as well. So, Tyrone Stansfield, and it's a similar situation to the one we've just seen in the DRS 100s, when Callum Gunning, for the first time this weekend, had to work something different out, had to deal with being behind. So Tyrone Stansfield, what response do you have, young man, against the attack from Patrick Lay and the attack from Evans? Evans gave him a tag, didn't he? Evans gave him a little tag on the way in and put his hand up and apologised. Fair play from Richard Evans. He now wants to find a way past Patrick Lay. They've all found a little bit more pace, haven't they? As Faulkner now tags on to the back of Tyrone Stansfield. And look who's just praying in the background as well. James Lay is in the background. Here comes Faulkner down the inside. Faulkner, Stansfield's going backwards at the moment because Faulkner is up into third and needs some sort of response, doesn't he? He's a little bit ragged as well. He's lost a little bit of time on the exit and he's going to fall into the clutches of James Lay here. Stansfield ducks his head down, just tries to regroup, regain a little bit of composure. Through the hook they come once more. We've still got 7 minutes left of this. Might finish us off. Patrick Lay, fastest man on circuit. He's hit the front at the right time and then he's turned the screw because Patrick Lay has just done the fastest lap of the race so far. 44.93 for Patrick Lay. Going superbly at the front of the field. The rest of them holding line astern. We have Faulkner up into third. Has he got a charge? We've got James Lay up into fourth. Stansfield into fifth. Horrible start for Ty Stansfield. And that, a lot of the time that's not to do with pace. A lot of the time that's to do with momentum. He lost one place, lost two. All of a sudden you're getting picked off. You've lost that. You lost some time when you were getting overtaken. And it means that the next one comes, the next one comes. And all of a sudden you find yourself needing 4, 5, 6 laps to regroup and get yourself back on the pace. And that's what's happened to Tyrone Stansfield. It's played right into the hands of Patrick Lay, the 175. Missed a couple of rounds earlier in the series. Missed the first two. He did round 3 and 4. He finished second at round 4. Missed Rowra, missed Fullbeck. And now he's back, and back with a vengeance as well. He's got Richard Evans in behind him. Richard Evans, who himself has missed rounds 2 and round 5. He came back to Fullbeck at round 6. We know he's got the pace, the number 2. And loads of experience to go with it as well. So it's now developing into 2 battles. A battle between Lay and Evans first and second, and Faulkner and James Lay third and fourth. Stansfield a little further back in 5th, and then he's got Pierce 10 car lengths or so behind him. Then Walden, Corey Lane is in 8th place, and Mark Lawrence 9th. Zach Parkinson is 6th. Will check is 10th. Checkley and Carl Watt 11th and 12th, and David Dowling's just got past Oliver Mooge into 13th place as well. It's not the day to remember for Morgan Cole. He's at the back of the field at the moment. Here are the leaders. 4 minutes, 5 minutes or so. A couple of grey clouds around. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it, if it started to rain? I think we'll be okay. For the first time today, we've been covered by a few rather grey clouds. A little bit wide from Patrick Lay as he exited Raymond's and crossed the start-finish line to complete another lap. They've done 10. I think this is probably a 16, 17 lap race all in all. You can just see the grey clouds there in your picture. The sun is still shining here in South Wales. It's been a great day, matched by great racing. So Patrick Lay, Richard Evans, Sam Faulkner, James Lay. 2 Lays in the top 4. I'm sure the Lay household would like 2 Lays in the top 3. As they go through the Dell chicane once more. Leaders are already over, start finish. 11 complete. 3/10 is the gap between the front 3. Patrick Lay has done his fastest lap, the fastest lap of the race, a 44.9. The only other drivers to be under 45 is Richard Evans, 44.96, and Tyrone Stansfield's also done a 44.9, but not consistently, and currently Stansfield's lapping in the 45.3s, so not really maintaining any sort of pace following those attacks on him earlier on. Here are the leaders. He's close enough, isn't he, Richard Evans? Probably not close enough to put a move on just yet. Here come the leaders down towards, or looking back now towards some of the other drivers in the field. Here are the leaders then, into the left of Surtees, into the right then, and dropping down towards Chandler's. Up the hill they come. Here's the battle for third and fourth, and it's a change
of place.
Third and fourth because James Lay has managed to find a way past Sam Faulkner, and Faulkner's trying to put him, in fact Faulkner's saying, no, don't defend James, let's go after the front two. I'll give you a shove, we'll get after the front two, and that's exactly the way they should be behaving, because once these front two start to battle, and I will be amazed if Richard Evans doesn't get itchy feet soon and start to have an attack on Patrick Lay. Once that happens, you might just see James Lay and Sam Faulkner just start to cruise onto the back end of these, and it would be great if we could have a four-way battle for the lead rather than a two-way battle. Here are the leaders, here are the battle for third and fourth. Fifth place is Tyrone Stansfield. He must be heartbroken. Looked to all money like he was going to be in the box seat, just not recovered from attack after attack of DRS125 carts that dumped him all the way back to fifth, and he just hasn't recovered. Faulkner and Lay, who's fastest man on circuit at the moment? So Richard Evans, 45 flat for him, just bringing him a little bit closer to the race leader. He needs something, he's got a minute, he really needs something now, Richard Evans. If he's going to attack in the closing stages, he needs another tenth of a second in this next half a lap or so. He needs to get right on terms with the race leader. He's not got there yet. They're coming down towards Raymond's. He's great under brakes, isn't he, Richard Evans? He loses a little bit on the way out of the corner. He needs something special here. I think he's got probably two more laps after this one. They're heading out towards Surtees, the long left-hander. They'll then go round and into Chandler's and back up towards us. Two more laps after this one, you would imagine. Here is the lead. You can see the gap is some 3-4 kart lengths. It's too much at the moment. He can't get close enough, Evans, to have a dive down the inside. He's going to need something special. As I look over his shoulder, I wonder if he's giving it up. I wonder if he's thinking, I just can't get there. I just can't get on terms with Patrick Lay. And what a job Patrick Lay has done. He's got 2 laps to go with a retirement on the way into the hook. Oh, it's the last lap this time. It is the last lap this time. He's not close enough. He's not close enough, isn't Richard Evans? It's gonna, unless he's got a huge lunge in him, a huge, massive dive down the inside. I'm not seeing many from this distance. I remember seeing one in an O-plate once from probably 10 kart lengths back that won an Open Championship, but I'm not sure that's even in range for Richard Evans. It's going to be Patrick Lay, isn't it? He goes into the final corner for the final time. Ray kicks the back end out, and Patrick Lay wins the DRS125 Grand Prix final at Llandow. Evans is second. James Lay comes home in third place. It's a fourth for Sam Faulkner, a fifth, and I know it'll be a disappointing fifth for Ty Stansfield. Matthew Pearce comes home in sixth. They're all battling all the way through. This will be tight over the line between the likes of Lawrence and Parkinson and Carl Watt and the 285 of David Darling. An excellent race. Just a shame that he couldn't get on terms, could he, Richard Evans? Ultimately, that move from Patrick Lay was well timed, and he gave himself enough of an advantage to see out the rest of the race. What an afternoon here at Llandow for the Daniel Ricciardo series. Some top-class racing, and sets it up wonderfully for a final race, a final weekend, final race weekend of the season in a couple of weeks' time at Hooton Park, where we will have 3 Daniel Ricciardo Series champions to crown. It will go down to the wire, I'm sure, but Llandow, you've been a pleasure, and our thanks go to the officials here, the organisers, the Daniel Ricciardo Series team, of course, the team at Alpha Live as well. We'll be back with you in a short few moments for the prize presentation, maybe 15, 20 minutes, half an hour usually, but we'll get that information up on screen as well. The presentation will follow from what's been a super day's racing here at Llandow. From me, Mark Fell, and the rest of the team, we will see you shortly. So the end of a fabulous day's racing. A thank you from all of us for watching, those who've joined us on our YouTube stream, on our Facebook Live. Ensure that you come back and watch the final race of the championship, where the new champions will be crowned in just a few weeks' time at Hooton Park. But from all of us here at Llandow, we wish the drivers a safe journey home, and the rest of us, thanks for watching.